Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Layne. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's topic is breastfeeding. We haven't talked about your journey yet, I don't think, have we?
I don't think we've been able to get to my journey.
No.
There's been a tiny little human that moved into our house and has really delayed things.
She's taken over.
We had a plan of taking 2 weeks off.
Oh, yeah.
And then getting right back to it. She turned 8 weeks this week, and it's been a struggle to get to work.
Yeah, I mean, she just wants to be attached to you 24/7.
She does.
And she refuses to sleep during the day.
Refuses to sleep.
She's just not big on sleep.
No, not into it.
That's alright.
That's okay. I mean, she's a dream. It's just the challenge of getting to work that's been.
Yeah. You had mentioned a couple times, I think you mentioned on the show too, about how the actual birth process went better than you had expected.
Far better than I expected. And then I was shocked by my challenges with breastfeeding. I feel like people don't talk about it enough. I feel like I just didn't see it coming. The women in my family, my sister, I shouldn't say the women, just my sister that I'm so close to, she just, the baby latched on and she breastfed and that was it. That was life. Well, that didn't happen here.
Well, it sort of did. I mean, in the sense that she latched on right away. No,
the baby had nothing to do with my issues.
Yeah.
The baby latched on right away. She had a good latch. She was great at suction, the whole thing. So it wasn't her. I
mean, you got to the point where usually the medical team would say, okay, you need to do formula.
Well, yeah. If I didn't have midwives, I definitely would have been told that this is not going to happen. So what basically happened, and we haven't talked about this publicly yet, is on we were discharged from the hospital basically within 24 hours of having the baby, having True. Everything went amazing. We were so excited. We got home. Day 2, day 3, we started to notice she looked a bit yellow. Yeah. So our midwives came on the day 3 appointment and she said, yeah, she's very yellow. And I think that you guys should definitely go have her blood checked. Long story short, the lab just closed. We actually had to go to Emerge. It was a nightmare. The whole thing was horrible. But anyway, ended up she did have really high bilirubin.
Yeah, bilirubin was super high.
So we were admitted to the hospital. So in being admitted into the hospital, basically they checked out what was going on and my milk did not come in. Mm-hmm. So the baby was basically going on nothing. Yeah. Plus having to flush this bilirubin, it was just a really terrible mess. And in that, on top of all that, my nipples were bruised, cracked, bleeding, awful. So not only did I not have milk and she was trying to latch on and make my milk supply come up, I was literally cringing and having to brace myself every time she latched on. It was so painful.
And then all of these things combined is super emotional.
And being readmitted to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. And can increase anxiety like crazy.
It was terrible. Yeah. So I'm physically in pain. My milk isn't coming in. My baby basically needs my milk to come in to get better. We're admitted into the hospital. Stress is through the roof. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it was terrible. So then we had to start the journey of trying to get my milk to come in. Yeah. So while in the hospital, what we did is I had to breastfeed her every 3 hours. Then when she was done breastfeeding, I had to breastfeed her for half an hour, 15 minutes each breast. Then when I was done, I had to do 15 minutes each breast on the pump. Mm-hmm. It was like torture. Yeah. And we had to do that. We had to set the timer and do this. And if you're doing the math, the baby's only sleeping 3 hours in between. This all takes, an hour and a half. by the time you get to sleep, maybe you're getting 45 minutes to half an hour of sleep.
Right.
It was terrible. So, and that's part of the problem too. Like and they're like, you have to sleep. And I'm like, well, when in the schedule do you expect that to take place? So, long story short, my milk did not come in fully for 3 weeks.
Not completely, yeah, but the reason we want to do this show is because what was it, the 2-week mark? We started to do some changes.
Yeah, we decided to really, because it came to the point where the conversation took place, like, she was being supplemented with donor milk, which is amazing.
So awesome.
So she never had to go in formula. But the conversation took place of like, okay, this donor milk prescription's running out. The reality is, the baby has to eat. And I was heartbroken with the thought of her having to do formula.
Well, at that point, I ran to Whole Foods one night.
Yeah.
And, okay, just find the best possible formula on the shelf because we're going to be done with this donor milk like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm going through the brands, and the number one ingredient in all the brands is corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar.
Yeah.
And I know there's sugar in breast milk. Breast milk is sweet. And babies need the calories, but the ingredient lists were just awful, even at the Whole Foods brands.
I know. It was heartbreaking, but I also don't want to make anybody feel bad that's had to turn to formula.
Oh my gosh, no, it's not a big deal.
Because that was me. It's just...
We would have done it if we absolutely had to.
Well, obviously. But the whole reason behind this podcast that I wanted to do this topic is that, A, I don't think people talk about the challenges enough, and I want to, like, just be a voice in, like, okay, it's not all just magical, they lop on, and, like, life is great. And 2, A and 2. That's how much sleep I get now.
Secondly.
Yeah. So, the other thing I just want to say is that it is possible to breastfeed even when you're facing these challenges in, some cases. Mm-hmm. And here's what I did, and it actually worked. Yeah. Like, the midwives even say, like, you don't hear of people's milk coming in fully after 3 weeks. I couldn't find it on the internet. Like, I was, like, Googling, trying to get myself some hope, and they're like, no. Like, if it doesn't come in 3 to 5 days, you're screwed.
Right.
So I want to be that hope for people. In no way am I shaming anyone that had to turn to formula. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
No. Exactly.
And I get it. If anyone gets it, I get it.
Oh,
if we didn't have donor milk, she would have been on formula. So.
Oh, definitely. We were so fortunate.
Okay.
We were so fortunate. So in that 2 to 3 week range, we started doing the naturopathic protocol for increasing milk supply.
Along with keeping up the every 3 hours drinking, or breastfeeding every 3 hours, and then right after pumping each breast. And I can't...
the schedule's really important.
It's really important because it's supply and demand. Yeah. They keep saying. But I didn't have any supply to make. So here's what we did. David had me on, and it worked.
Well, I should mention, too, in terms of with the schedule, sleep is also really important for breast milk. Sleep and stress reduction are huge.
And obviously eating.
And eating. So we tried to tie a bit of that up as much as we could before doing any supplementation. And then all in one day, we started a tincture and 2 supplements.
Right.
There's many different lactation formulas out there.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of herbs in improving milk supply is to increase the hormone prolactin, which can stimulate the production of milk. And they seem to do a pretty good job. And for you, it was like instant.
It really was.
The 2 main ones are Blessed Thistle and Fenugreek.
Mm-hmm.
You started out at, like 1 gram, 1.2 grams of fenugreek 3 or 4 times a day. And Blessed Thistle is about 800 milligrams 3 or 4 times a day. And then the tincture you're doing, you had to get it without alfalfa because you have a sensitivity to alfalfa. Usually lactation tinctures come with a bit of alfalfa in them as well. The one that you got has fenugreek and Blessed Thistle as well, but also has fennel, goat's rue, raspberry, some nettles, and
raspberry leaf tea I kept drinking as well.
Exactly, and this is the tincture version of that in the formulation, and then some blue vervain. Now, fenugreek and Blessed Thistle, I would say, are the main ingredients, but this complex, in addition to the supplementation, was huge.
Huge.
So sleep, stress reduction, scheduling.
Pump feed schedule. And then the supplementation. 100%.
This was major. You have to make sure you don't have a sensitivity. Like, we knew in advance that you had a sensitivity to alfalfa.
Yeah.
So we made sure that we didn't consume that, because then if you try something and you're not prepared for it, then you can have an immune flare, or you can...
So if you have any type of immune, autoimmune response to things, for me, when I have...
like when you have alfalfa?
When I have alfalfa, my lymph nodes flare.
Yeah.
So that, for me, is like a real indication of, okay, this isn't for me. So if you have autoimmune reactions at all the things, that's something to be aware of, that just taking out alfalfa could make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really can.
Mm-hmm.
Then, at the same time, you were doing hardcore nipple support.
Yes.
And I can't speak highly enough of the actual topical application that you used.
Yeah, I used it every time after the baby ate.
Was it Earth Mama?
Earth Mama, Angel Baby, their whole line. If you're looking for a gift for someone, or for yourself, for someone that's about to have a child, I'm telling you, everything in their line, I love it all. And like, it's very rare that you find a whole line of things that you love.
Yeah.
But their post-birth products, I use them diligently. And also, obviously, the nipple butter. The nipple butter was amazing.
I mean, I would assume that's why they're doing so well, because people are having great success with them, like you have.
Oh, it really works.
So
and
this
the
between feed. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, between feeds. And I also got. At first, I had disposable nipple pads, and I didn't even have them for obviously leaking, because I wasn't producing that much milk. But it was softer while my boobs were healing, between the bra and the. But honestly, to be 100% honest, I didn't wear a shirt for
No, it was
2.5 weeks. I couldn't. My nipples were in such bad condition that the fabric, I couldn't have fabric against them.
No.
So also with trying to heal my nipples, what I would do is at night, as often as I could, I'd either have a warm bath and massage my breasts, or a shower and massage them, and then during the day when they were hurting, I would, and this sounds crazy, but it worked, I would keep a cabbage in the fridge and take a whole leaf off and put the cabbage leaves in my bra.
The cabbage tip is major.
I know it sounds crazy, but not only did it soothe hurting nipples and boobs, it helped my nipples heal faster.
It really did.
And I know it all sounds crazy, and I didn't believe it, but I was so desperate, I was like, I'll try anything, and my mom told me to do it, that she heard of it like in the 70s.
Yeah.
It works.
Oh, it was awesome.
But you have to keep the cabbage in the fridge.
Yeah.
And you break off the whole leaf and you put it just like a cup in your bra.
Yeah.
And you leave it in there till they basically whizzle up. Like,
I mean, in old school naturopathic medicine, they recommend doing vegetable poultices all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, for ear infections.
Okay, well, this works.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. Like, I was a non-believer. And it really did work.
So cool.
And it helped them heal faster.
Mm-hmm. This was this between feed pump.
Yeah.
In your feed pump cycle.
Yeah.
The between time, there was sleep and there was nipple care.
Yeah.
And you were so diligent. This is the other thing about you that we have to make sure everyone knows: the discipline is there.
Yes. Well, I so badly wanted my child to have the best start possible.
For sure. And after 5 days, they said, okay, as soon as the donor milk runs out, it looks like it's going to be formula. Yeah. Most people, if their milk doesn't come in 5 days, that's no big deal. You just go to formula, and we're like, okay, we're going to try everything we can. So we put this protocol together. Yeah. And boom, things changed.
Yeah.
Literally right away. So you were going from pumping 20, 40, 60, 40, sometimes 30.
And then sometimes back to 10. Like, it was like crazy.
And then all of a sudden, you had a pump of 100. Yeah. 100 mils.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And now it's every time you put the pump on, you can easily get 100, even out of one breast.
And that's only 5 minutes each breast, I should
nothing.
say as well. Like, this isn't, I was doing 15 each and getting like 10 mils. It was like the most depressing, horrible. And now I just do 5 minutes each breast and easily 100. Yeah. And that's just what I aim for, because that's what she's eating.
We're at the point this time, this week at week 8, that we have to reduce the supplementation because your milk is coming so incredibly fast.
Yeah, she's choking. And it's actually spraying out when she starts. And
these are the good problems.
It is a great problem. But she was frustrated yesterday because it was just spraying out into her face. So yesterday I took out the noon supplementation. Now I'm just doing morning and evening, and I'm just going to see how that goes. And especially because I am scarred by the whole experience. I mean, I want to trust my body, and I know my body is meant to do this, and I just needed the support to get it going. So, but I'm still going to be very careful, and I'll keep everybody updated on that, because people will probably want to know if they can come off it.
For sure, definitely. Two other things that we should mention. In terms of supplementation as well, you've continued with the prenatal.
Oh, yes.
I think that's important.
Yeah. And I also did things in my diet.
Yeah. Diet is this other component. How did you change things after having the baby?
Well, I'm not eating anything on the list of things that could cause her gas.
Right.
So I'm eating very, very plain, and it's not fun, but it is what it is. And I don't care. I'm just surrendered to the process. Like right now, that my job is to like nourish my baby. That's what I'm focused on. So I took out all the things like high acid fruits that could irritate. And this isn't for everyone. And I took out really the gassy vegetables. So broccoli, cabbage, those types of things eating. I took those out. And then I added in nutritional brewer's yeast. I added that in. I made sure like my nuts and seeds are higher. I started eating oatmeal, which I never eat oatmeal, but that's good for milk production. And just I've added coconut oil to everything to make sure I was getting enough fats. Just really like higher carb. Like I'm eating brown rice and like lots of those types of things.
And it seems to be good. I mean, your energy is pretty stable.
Yeah.
And you're able to maintain this breastfeeding schedule really well.
Yes.
But she sort of is shifting now at week 7, week 8, where she's not sticking to the schedule as much as she was before. Now it's more of this, she's more of a grazer.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing about babies. The schedule becomes whatever their schedule is. And right now she's doing more grazing instead of set feeds. So I'm letting her do whatever she wants. Because I think it's good for because also her digestion has changed in the last few weeks. So I think that it's just something she's going through and something she needs.
For sure. On a final note, was there any technique changes you had when things started to come in at week 2 or 3 with actually breastfeeding her? I mean, I know you were doing the football hold a bit. And
I was shaking everything.
You're just shaking it up.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. Hello, True.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, just whatever was comfortable. I think being comfortable is important.
Yeah.
So, getting comfortable. Whatever it took.
Exactly. That's everything I had. So, True, this was good timing.
Yeah, True.
We've got the supplementation, the schedule, the tincture, the diet, sleep. It's all there.
And, yeah, just taking care of yourself. And it's something the midwives mentioned to me, too, is feeling supported and nourished. You know, like emotionally supported or nourished or whatever feels good to you. So, like, even if it's just touch from your partner or hugging or cuddling or that type of stuff, I think that's important, too.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, like, birth is a lot.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, you know.
It's more than a lot.
Well, we demoted in society.
Yeah.
You know, I read this thing the other day and I thought it was so intelligent. It was this company that does, you know, rehabilitation and that type of thing after you have a baby. But they were saying, you know, you get the clear 6 weeks after giving birth, yet if you hurt your Achilles, it's 6 months.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, that's right.
You know, like it's a huge ordeal. A lot goes on.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
Physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's all there.
And plus, then you jump right into motherhood, which is, you know, the least amount of sleep and the most selfless you'll be in your life.
Well,
so
you can end up going through a different challenge every hour. I mean,
exactly.
Depending on your situation.
Exactly.
There's been some days where we've been like, okay, this is new. It's just constant.
Exactly. So, you know, be kind to yourself. Don't, you know, buy into the 6 weeks you should be out, you know, running a marathon. I feel like women are so competitive now. You know, it's crazy, but just take care of yourself. But anyway, the main thing I wanted to say is that for anybody that is interested in pushing past and really wants to breastfeed but feels like their body isn't just doing the natural thing, this protocol really worked. And I mean, email us, you know, comment, questions, whatever you want to do. if you're interested, because I'm very passionate about it.
Sure. I mean, even if you've already started formula and you're thinking, oh, maybe I want to keep trying.
Oh, for sure. And like,
it's not a big
not
deal.
like because they're on formula, it's over.
No,
You can
my
also
goodness.
do, the other thing we were looking at doing is breastfeeding and formula.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking at doing both. It's about just getting your baby what the baby needs. But as much breast milk as you can get into your baby, the better, you know.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher Radio and leave us a review. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamieHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Layne has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamieHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamieHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamieHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.